Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 10 September 2018. I'm making a video tonight that I think is long overdue, at least by some of the messages I get from you guys. It's long overdue. A long time ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, I made a video regarding my knife sales, short title FAQs for Consignors. So that video kind of gives the nuts and bolts of my Thursday night knife sales to people who want to sell knives on my channel, but I've never made an FAQs for buyers for my Thursday night knife sale. So this really isn't going to be so much an FAQs video, just more of a tutorial or an explanation of how to buy knives on the TheApostleP Thursday night knife sale, where the sale came from, why I do it, and why I do it the way I do it. So I'm going to go over some screenshots with you of terms of the sale and how to navigate the sale later in the video. But first, I want to give you guys a little history on this event that happens every Thursday night at 9. I've been doing these for about 5 years, and they started completely by accident. And about 3 years in earnest, weekly or nearly weekly. So that's how long we've been doing these. And during the course of those 5 years and the last 3 years, almost every week, we've sold almost actually over 4,000 knives. 4,000 knives. And we've had zero unresolved problems with sellers and buyers. That, I think, is why the sale is so popular every Thursday night, and guys trust that when they buy a knife from my Thursday night knife sale, they don't have to worry about how that's going to come out. So here's the story. How did it start? Well, those of you who have been around my channel for a long time know I have a buddy in Washington State that goes by the YouTube and Instagram handle of Toad Sticker. That's TOADSTKR. His name is Rick, and about 5 years ago, he called me one day and said he was having some medical issues and he needed to liquidate some knives, and he wondered maybe if I could sell them on my YouTube channel. And I said yes, and I think he sent me 12 or 15 knives, and I recorded a video, and it went live at like 9 in the morning. I was at work, and I spent the next 3 hours of a work day that somebody else was paying me for. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, Jay. Sorry, Ron. Taking care of a knife sale. And I went, we sold 12 or 15 knives in 3 hours, and it was a feeding frenzy. I wonder if there's something here. And then I kind of centered myself, and, I at that time sold cars for a living and really wasn't enjoying doing that. You guys kind of know that story if you've been around for a while. And I didn't really want to mix selling things with my knife hobby and my YouTube channel at that point. I was sharpening for, on the side professionally, but it wasn't my primary career, and it wasn't something I relied on, and I didn't want to get into selling knives. Occasionally I would do a sale video during that period of my stuff, if I needed to sell some knives to be able to afford some new stuff. And during that period of a couple of years, between the Toad Sticker sale and when I really started doing it every week, a lot of people contacted me and said, hey, I saw that video you did of selling your knives. Could you sell my knives? Or I saw that video where you sold some of Toad Sticker stuff. Could you sell some of mine? And I turned people down left and right for 2 years because I didn't want to sell anymore. I didn't want to go to work every day selling cars, and I didn't want to start selling knives. I was done. After a while, especially 3 years ago when I handed the boss the keys to the dealership, frankly, the extra money became attractive, and I was turning people away. I thought, man, I bet I have enough people contacting me to sell their knives. I could probably do a video a week. So I started to think about how that would look, under what conditions I would do it. and that sort of got us to where we are now. The reasons I changed my mind were a couple. First of all, the extra income that these weekly sales can create for me enable me, without having to worry about my family finances, they enable me to do the road trips I like to do, visit custom makers, go to the GEC Rendezvous, go to Bark River Grind-Ins, give you guys video content that you don't see on every other knife channel. That was one reason I decided to do it. The other was that, as most of you know, if you're a gun channel or a knife channel or a conservative political channel, there is no more YouTube revenue. 3 years ago, with less than 20,000 subscribers, an average month of AdSense money for me was just about $300. Mid 200s most of the year and over 400 for a few months during the holiday season. Right now, my 28-day rolling average is $110. I mean, it's frankly, monetarily, it's not even worth making videos. And hats off to you guys who are making a ton of videos, because you're doing it for free, basically. Unless you have millions and millions of subscribers. So the YouTube revenue that went away and the cost of operating my channel like I want to are offset by sale revenue. And frankly, it gives me a little more income than I would make just sharpening knives. Those are my reasons for doing it that benefit me. So that's not enough, though. Why else would I do this? So this is going to sort of go into my next point, which is my philosophy or purpose for doing these knife sales. First is to enable knife collectors to cache their knives in a reliable venue with ultra low risk and effort on their part. So for people who need to turn knives, because they've overspent or because they want to buy more stuff and they're culling their collection, who don't want to have to go on eBay or on forums, pay eBay fees, or have a guy come on a forum and say, yes, I'll buy your knife, I'll mail you a check in a week, and then you never hear from them again. It's a hassle. And we'll get to some of that other stuff in a little bit. But so to enable knife collectors to be able to cache their knives in a reliable venue with ultra low risk and effort. And this is in my FAQs for Consignors video, but if you're selling knives on my channel, you send me a box of knives, and in about 2 or 3 weeks they're going to show up in a sale video on a Thursday night, and before you go to bed Thursday night, your PayPal account's going to be full of money. That's it. So that's attractive to people who like to flip their collection a lot. Second, to provide collectors, this time the buyer, with a trustworthy source of high quality knives at fair prices with detailed video segments and descriptions of individual pieces. So if you're a buyer, you know that the knife that you're watching a 2 or 3 minute video segment on, you're hearing me talk about, is exactly the knife you're going to get. And you know that I've looked at it, inspected it, figured out what idiosyncrasies of that particular model this knife has. If it's perfect, I'll say if it's perfect. If it's got issues, I'm going to tell you it's got issues. And I'm going to work with my sellers to make sure those pieces are priced accordingly. Next, to foster an environment of trust and honor among the knife community. Buyers know exactly what they're buying for values that are researched and referenced. And if my sellers are crazy, I tell them they're crazy. And we try to arrive at a price that I think is going to be attractive to you guys, the buyers. That's going to get them what their knife is really worth. Next, buyer etiquette. This is kind of important, and some of you guys aren't going to like to hear this. Buyers are held to their word and expected to honor it. And we'll get to that a little bit more in depth later as we talk about the terms of the sale. And here's another philosophy bullet point. I like to foster responsible collecting. If you notice, I use only PayPal friends or family. And the responsible collecting reason for that is that friends and family encourages cash transactions. So it works best if you have money in your PayPal account, your money in the PayPal account. You can use debit cards for friends and family, but then you pay a fee. So I really don't want to know, but I encourage you guys who participate in the sale never to put on a credit card you're going to pay interest on. Never. If you've got 40 knives and you're buying number 41, do not finance it, please. It's not responsible collecting. If you have 40 knives, you don't need 41 enough to pay interest on it. I really try to encourage discretionary cash assets to be paying for these knives. I've structured the sale that way, and from me to you, I really hope that's what you're doing. For a couple reasons. First, you're not jeopardizing your personal or your family budget because you're addicted to buying knives. Trust me, this is coming from somebody who has made decisions like that in the past, and it hurts. There are consequences. The next aspect of responsible collecting. There is a set of sale terms that's designed to appeal to buyers who can afford to participate. What we're talking about here, tangentially, is the terms of my sale are designed that in such a way that people who regularly get buyer's remorse after they buy a knife aren't going to be happy with the way this sale works. What's the number one reason we get buyer's remorse when we buy a knife? Because we bought a knife that financially we shouldn't have bought. We start to get that little feeling in the pit of our stomach that says, oh man, that wasn't a good idea. I really could have used that $300 for something else. If that turns into a reason half an hour after you've paid me for the knife that you start wanting to backpedal, sorry. We'll talk about that as we get into the terms in a little more depth. So the guys who are happiest buying knives on my sale are people that have followed my channel for a long time. They know enough about me to know that if I say it, it's true. And if I make a mistake and it ends up not being true, then I'm going to honor my word. Doesn't happen often, but it has happened. One time I've had to buy a knife back, and it was not a cheap one. It was a knife that sold for $500. And I represented the knife as like new in box. There was a scratch in a section of Mokutai inlay on a knife. Actually, a couple scratches, hairline. And the seller actually, in his notes to me, disclosed the scratches. I didn't read it. I looked at it. I never saw the scratches. In fact, even if I watched the video, there was about a half a second with the light just right, you could see them. Well, it was a $500 Rayot. And the guy buying it bought it to be a collectible safe queen. And he saw them right away. And he got a hold of me and he told me what he saw. And I dug out the seller's notes, and there it was. And I looked at the video, and there it was. And I didn't ask my seller to refund me the $500. I paid the buyer the $500 and sold it the next week, disclosed the scratches, and took a bath. So, you know, that's how we roll, okay? All right, next, let's get into specifics of the sale. First, how do you find it? How do you find the weekly sale if you're a YouTube user? First of all, subscribe to my channel. If you're not subscribed to my channel, who knows when that video is going to show up in your feed? It may never. If you're not subscribed and you come on at 9 o'clock onto YouTube on Thursday night and think you're going to see it, you're not going to see it. Some guys don't see it for an hour. You know, they can even go to my channel page and refresh if they're not subscribed. And the second thing, have your notification bell clicked. Those two things not only seem to notify you, but they seem to unlock that video quicker, closer to 9 o'clock. Most people who are subscribed and have the notification bell clicked, they can see that video right at 9 o'clock. For some reason unknown to me, there are some guys that are regulars, they're texting me at 9:15, go, where's the sale? And it's always the same 3 or 4 people. I'm not sure what gives with that. It's not me. There's nothing I'm doing everything I can. All right, so those two things: subscribe to my channel, have the notification bell clicked next to the subscription button, and then 3, watch for the Thursday afternoon weekly heads up video. So sometime around 5 o'clock, so 4 hours before the sale, every week I post a little 1 or 2 minute heads up video telling you that there's going to be a sale tonight and kind of maybe sometimes what's in it. If you don't see a heads up video, there's probably not going to be a sale. And generally, if there's not going to be a sale, I'm probably going to do a heads up video saying, hey, I'm on vacation. That happens about 1 week a year. I think last year, Thursday night, well, every year, Thursday night is Thanksgiving. We had a Thanksgiving night sale last year, which, you know, what else are you going to do on Thursday night Thanksgiving besides sleep? Okay, I think that's it. So subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, watch for the weekly heads up video. And then once it's 9 o'clock, either in your subscription feed or on my channel page, in the video section of the channel, just keep clicking refresh until it pops up. And generally it's going to pop up right at 9. Okay, now that's how to find it. Now, how to use it? How do you buy a knife on the Apostle P channel? Well, what we're going to do is walk through the terms of the sale. Okay, and I'm going to put these on the screen for you as I'm talking. They're now 6 pages long, I guess. So number 1 in the terms of the sale, send me an email at rob.bixby65@gmail.com. Some of you guys who are long-termers still have my name defaulted to Yahoo. Change that. If you send me an email on Yahoo in the first few minutes of the sale, you're probably not going to get the knife, because my Gmail box gets full. Those are the ones I answer first because the video explicitly says send an email to my Gmail address. So it might be 9:30 by the time I check my first Yahoo email. Okay, sorry, but we've been doing it this way for a year. Okay, next. In the subject line of your email, reference the item you'd like to purchase. So in the subject line, Benchmade 940-1, for example. Next, in the body, type I'll take it and indicate as is or sharpened. Okay, that's pretty simple. Page 2, term number 2. I will then send you an acknowledgement email saying it's yours. Please go ahead with payment if the knife is available. If it's already sold, I'll say that. If it's pending payment, I'll let you know that too. Clear as mud, huh? Page 3. Number 3. This is very important. After I send your acknowledgement email, you'll have 30 minutes to complete your purchase, or you will lose your place in line. Meaning, if I get another I'll take it after yours, that guy who's second in line, he's going to get an email that says, first buyer did not pay, it's yours. Okay, if you miss your 30 minutes and you want back in, you must send another I'll take it email. Note, this rule applies only on Thursday evening. If I receive your email after going to bed on Thursday, so like on Friday or Saturday or sometime during the week, I'll indicate a time limit in my response, usually 8 to 12 hours, because it's not as much of a frenzy 2 days after Thursday night. Okay. Page 4. Term 4. Payment must be made by PayPal, friends or family only. Please leave the note field blank. We talked about why PayPal, friends or family a little bit in the philosophy section of the video. There's another reason. Nobody pays any fees with friends or family, and I try to keep the sale as lean as possible, making neither my consignors or my buyers pay any fees. That's one reason for friends and family. Here's the other. This sale is based on men and women of honor transacting business with each other in an honorable fashion. Your arbiter or arbitrator for any misunderstandings in this sale is me, only me. I will never, ever, ever, in the Thursday night knife sale, subject my buyers or my sellers to having PayPal be an arbitrator for any misunderstandings or disputes. Not going to happen. This takes me back to my point about buyer's remorse. And you guys know who you are. And those of you who may be watching this who are knife retailers, you really know who they are. What's one of the most common things somebody who buys a knife and gets buyer's remorse because he really couldn't afford it does? Well, he makes up a reason to file a PayPal dispute. Not doing it. If there's a valid situation, if you want to buy knives on this sale, you have to trust that I am an honorable guy. No PayPal in the middle of that. So that's why we use friends and family. And then let me reiterate. Please leave the note field blank. There are reasons for that I really don't want to discuss in the video. Next, term number 5. International buyers must agree that the seller bears no responsibility for purchased items after they leave his hand and to the shipping costs quoted at the time of purchase. So if you're from a different country, if you send me an I'll take it, you have to tell me where you're from right in the beginning. And I'm going to estimate shipping, and I'm going to estimate high so that I never lose money because it costs more than I kind of know what things cost going to the countries where I have buyers. That part about the seller bearing no responsibility for purchased items after they leave my hand. Why? Well, because there's a lot of customs officers in this world that are knife nuts, and I'm not going to be if I sell a $200 knife, I'm making $30. I can't afford to reimburse you $200 because a customs official stole your knife. I don't encourage international buyers to participate, and if you want to, there are risks associated with that, and there's nothing I can do about those. Okay. Page 5, term number 6. Shipping will be via United States Postal Service Priority Mail. First class if it's an international package, unless you want to pay a ridiculous amount. And that shipping will happen the next business day after purchase or sharpening, depending on which way you bought it. All prices are shipping included, except international packages, which are quoted individually. And then, again, PayPal friends and family only to rob.bixby65@gmail.com. And page 6, term number 8. All sales are final. All sales are final. It's not because I want to be a jerk. It's because, well, a couple reasons. It's to protect my sellers. Remember, The reason that we get so many nice consignments in these sales for really good prices is because my sellers are confident that when they click on my video and they see the word sold next to their knife, they know they're going to have money in their PayPal account before that knife leaves my hand. And once that money's in their account, they can count on the fact that they get to keep it. Okay? This goes back to the men and women of honor doing business with men and women of honor. I just ask that people who buy knives during the sale understand that once they have purchased it, they own it. Returns for refund will only be accepted if an item was misrepresented in an objective way by the seller. That means I said something that is objectively not true. If no erroneous statement was made by the seller, the buyer bears sole responsibility for observing the video segment and asking pertinent questions about an item prior to purchasing. Alrighty. Now, having said all that, just because all sales are final doesn't necessarily mean you're stuck with a knife. You are welcome to become a consignor. You know, whether you've received the knife from me and you decided, you know, this just isn't for me, whether you've decided, wow, bad decision, shouldn't have spent the money. Remember, I operate a knife sale every Thursday night with a 95+% sales rate. Yes, you're going to have to pay me commission, reference my video FAQs for consignors, but you're not stuck with the knife. You've got a great outlet for it right here. That sort of brings me to another side point. As you're preparing to watch the sale, remember, it is a feeding frenzy, especially for the first hour. So it's a good idea to plan not to get swept up in all that. Kind of know before 9 o'clock how much money you can spend, what kind of knives that you're looking for. Even you might decide, I'm really not looking for anything special, but I need to be careful not to spend more than X. Just keep that in mind, and your chances of making a mistake are lessened. But even if you make a mistake, it's okay. Just resell the knife. You know, a lot of retailers, if you return an item for refund, you pay a restocking fee of 25%-ish. You know, let's say you send me the knife back, or you tell me to keep it and put it in next week's sale. My commission rate on knives under $400 is only 15%. No big deal. Just as we've discussed before, be in a position where you're able to take that hit if you decide you made a mistake. And of course, the key is understanding it was your mistake, so that, you know, that 15%, or if we have to sell a little cheaper next week because you were the only one that wanted it for that price, just know that going in. Now we're going to talk about how to navigate the sale, and I'm going to put up a couple more screenshots of this. Is going to have the description section of last week's video. Okay. So at the top of the description, and if you're on a desktop, you click Show More to see the description. If you're on a handheld device, a mobile device, there's usually a little tiny down arrow you have to click. So there you see the terms at the top of the description. And then you scroll down and you see, here's the list of items available in this sale, which is going to be every knife in the sale with a blue timestamp at the left. And it doesn't work if you're on a mobile device, but if you're on a desktop or a laptop, you just click on that blue time and the video will jump to that. And then notice, look at these first two knives. The Liang Ma Design KUF is still available because you see a price and then a middle nothing, and then to the right you see another price. So in this case, just so you know, This Liangma knife already has my edge on it. So its price as is $325 with my edge. There's no as sharpened price for the KUF, but it does come with a rat too, which could be sharpened, and if you want that sharpened, your total price is $345. Normally you're going to see, if you go down to the Mass Drop Ferrum Forged Falcon Wing at $39.11, you're going to see a price of $165 as is and $185 as sharpened. And I'll always tell you during the video what the wait time is for sharpening. I'm trying to do next day sharpening, and you'll know when you watch the video whether that's in effect. So what you mostly want to do is when you open the video, you want to go straight to the description. You want to look at the inventory list. Find the knives that you're interested in and go to that timestamp and watch that video segment. If you want it, then you send me an I'll take it email. If you don't want it after you watch the video segment, go to the next one. That's pretty much how you navigate. Now, I'm not going to give a lot of tips and tricks that my veteran sellers have, for how to be super fast. Because remember, my overall sales percentage for these sale videos is over 95%. Over 95%. Less than 5% of knives that get consigned on the sale are returned to the sellers unsold. About 75% of them sell in the first night of the video, and about 50% of them sell in the first hour. So the first 20 minutes of the sale is crazy. It's crazy. So you want to be able to navigate, but I'm not going to give you insider info on how my veteran buyers get in quick. Those of you guys do know how to use the internet, know how to get a knife when it drops. You're going to figure it out. Okay, now let's get to what not to do. What not to do. This is an important section. Do not send me an I'll take it email and then ask questions, because I know what you're doing. And the other buyers know what you're doing. It's not cool. Well, it's not cool to send any I'll take it email and then ask a question that really the answer to is going to determine whether or not you're going to buy the knife. When you send an I'll take it, the purpose of that is agreeing to purchase a knife. If you have questions that need to be answered before you're ready to commit, don't tie the knife up with an I'll take it when somebody else might be ready to buy it now. That's not honorable, okay? That's taking advantage of the other people who are participating in buying knives that week. Next, do not send me an I'll take it and then not complete the purchase. And this happens a variety of ways. Sometimes people just disappear. Sometimes they, usually if a guy's coming up on 30 minutes, at 28 minutes, I'm going to send him a quick email. Hey, your time's about up. Is there a problem? I got a guy waiting. Sometimes they disappear and then an hour later, oh man, I fell asleep. Or, oh, my son needed his diaper changed and it was a mess. And my dog ate it, that kind of stuff. Just know that I do keep a blacklist of people who do stuff like that, and I've heard everything. The first time that you don't complete a purchase you committed to, you're going to be on the list, and I review that list before the sale. If it's happened once, I'm usually going to question you a little bit when you send me an I'll take it. Like, hey, what happened on that Boker last week? You sure you really want this one? Be a good idea if you buy it. The second time it happens, we're kind of done. You might send me an I'll take it email and never hear back. In fact, that's probably what will happen. That's not because I don't like you. It's because there are over 2,000 people that watch this sale every week. It needs to be fair to the people who are behaving honorably. And if somebody shows that that's not him, he can't play anymore. That's why. So I think that's about it. So I hope this video has helped you guys answer questions. For those of you who are new customers who have never participated in the sale, and those of you who are old customers who maybe get frustrated every week by something I've answered in this video, I hope this makes your Thursday night knife sale experience efficient and enjoyable. And I'm happy to be facilitating you guys moving your knives around among each other so you can get new stuff that you want. Also understand that I appreciate all of you, both sellers and buyers, because it helps this channel stay afloat, and it's part of my full-time gig. I sharpen knives and I'm a used knife salesman. Man, it just kills me. I gotta admit though, it is fun. From 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock on Thursday night when it's crazy, it reminds me of the best times I had when I was a salesman or a sales manager or a general manager in the car business. There is a little bit of a rush when all that goes down, and it's a good thing in small doses, and it's a good thing when I don't have to depend on it to live. So I appreciate you guys, and I hope this video has helped. And I hope maybe it's helped you think about some things you needed to think about too. This is a hobby, guys. Let's face it. When you get 20, 30, 40 knives, you're not buying them because you need them. It's great that you enjoy them. It's great that you appreciate them. It's great that you crave them. But we just have to keep it responsible. Because all of us, I think, pretty much, who have ever entered the knife collecting realm, we've gone through a period where we did it not so responsibly. And it's not fun when you do that. You know, when you know there's a bill that you should have paid, when you know you're struggling, you know, to take care of a financial obligation that you could have taken care of if you hadn't bought that hinderer, the hinderer ceases to be fun at that point, right? So I didn't mean to ramble on for 35 whole minutes, but I guess I did. Time to stop rambling. Enjoy the sale, my friends. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the word is sharp.